Hi, I'm Danielle and welcome to my perfume journal. This video will be the first installment in a series called Perfume Collecting for Regular People. This is a series I posted on my previous social media account and I'm really excited to bring it here to YouTube. The idea behind it is to show exactly what it is like to be a perfume lover, a perfume enthusiast, a perfume collector who is a regular person with a regular person budget. In this series, I will show you every month what's coming into my collection, what's leaving my collection, and most importantly, I will be showing you exactly how much money I spend each month on perfume to the penny. So I started this series because I realized pretty early on in the social media part of my scented life that I was not immune to hype. And that was leading me to make some pretty poor decisions, both financially and also like from a perfume enthusiast standpoint. I was buying perfumes that just didn't really feel like me. And so I had to course correct. I had to set myself a pretty strict budget and stick with it. And it really helped me realize that I could be part of an online community of people who had shared interests. I could consume media that was interesting to me, that helped me learn about new scents that were out there, but also I didn't have to have all of it. I could really still build and curate a beautiful collection of perfumes that reflect me as a person, who I am, without going broke. And I thought, well, I certainly cannot be the only person who feels this way. There have got to be other folks out there who are struggling a little bit with the idea that we're inundated with messages about all of these perfumes and of course pretty bottles and sparkly tops, and who doesn't want all of that? But also I would like to retire someday. So I decided to just put it all out there and be transparent, talk about my budget, talk about how I stick to my budget. And this message kind of seemed to resonate with people, and it made me so happy because I think it's really important that we normalize the fact that perfume is a very expensive hobby and we can enjoy it. We can really make the most of it, but that doesn't have to come at the cost of our own financial security. And so in this series, that is what I hope to do. Normalize and show what it is like to be a regular person who loves perfume. Now disregard everything I just said because I got 7 bottles of perfume in January. To be fair, most of these were gifts. It is very rare that I would actually add 7 bottles of perfume to my collection in 1 month, but in the spirit of openness and transparency and honesty, I'm going to show you everything that I added to my collection in the month of January. So here we go. So first up, we have Unue from Jeroboam. I had a sample of this. I absolutely fell in love with it at first sniff. If you know and love vintage Samsara from Klein, you would love this perfume. It is so intoxicatingly beautiful. It is woody. It is musky. It is like a big, long sandalwood charcuterie board that is covered with overripe plums and juicy pineapple. It's decorated with jasmine blossoms and ylang-ylang petals and sprinkled with little bits of aniseed over the top. It is very classic, very vintage smelling, but it definitely has a modern twist to it. It's an extrait, so you only need like 1 spray to enjoy this. This was a gift. I got this from my sister-in-law, who I love, and I love this perfume. So that's Unue from Jeroboam. Next up, we have Fille de L'Air from Courreges. I talked about this one in my last video. Courreges is a designer brand. They make some really nice perfumes at a great price point. I think I got this one for $20. This perfume came out in 2015. It's by Fabrice Pellegrin, and he's the nose behind many perfumes, but for me, most notably, my favorite incense, I think, ever, which is Adorum from NOYZ, which I'll have to talk about in another video. This perfume is exactly what the name suggests. It is an airy, light, ethereal orange blossom. It feels like you are standing under an orange tree that is just in bloom in the spring, and there's like a light breeze blowing, and it's just wafting whispers of that orange blossom scent in your direction, and it's beautiful. It's light and airy and a really great perfume at a really great price. So that's La Fille de L'Air from Courreges. Next up, we have Secret Obsession from Calvin Klein. I sort of stumbled on this perfume as I was browsing through. I can't remember where I found this, if it was on Shop Goodwill or FragranceNet, but I was just browsing around one day and I was like, I did not know that there was a flanker called Secret Obsession. So I looked it up and I thought, well, this looks interesting. And so I threw this one in the cart, and it had everything I would love in a perfume. It has plum, jasmine, tuberose, orange blossom, and what I thought was going to be that signature obsession amber in the base. And I'm not sure yet about this one. It is extremely heavy. That part doesn't turn me off per se, because I love a heavy, loud perfume. I mean, I cut my teeth on 1980s perfume, so I am not afraid of a loud perfume. But there is something in this perfume, maybe it's like a little bit of a soapiness that seems to be at war with the amber. I can't quite explain it, but they just don't feel like they fit together exactly. But I think it's a little too early for me to render a verdict on this one. So I'm going to try it a few more times before I really decide if it's a love it or a meh. But right now, the jury's out. The jury's out on Secret Obsession. So that's Secret Obsession from Calvin Klein. Next, we have Nightingale from Zoologist. This was my biggest splurge of the month. I bought this perfume myself. Probably one of the biggest splurges in my entire collection. This is a perfume that I have been waiting to purchase for months, probably 6 months. And I finally decluttered enough from my collection, cheapies and partials that were just sort of sitting on my shelf collecting dust. And I went ahead and took the plunge and finally purchased myself a bottle of Nightingale. I love every single thing about this perfume. It is a vintage style floral chic, but it is brought into the modern age. It is beautifully crafted by Tomu Inaba. It's very reminiscent of what I feel like is an old Hollywood starlet kind of feeling. It feels like she's sitting at a vanity, powdering her nose, and she's got this long silky robe on that's trailing behind her. It features the note of plum blossom. That's really what the entire perfume is centered around. Obviously, that's where you can see that beautiful pink color of the liquid draws from. It's roses and violets and all kinds of magical things in the base, very mossy. When you wear this perfume, it is not the same from minute to minute. It keeps changing, it keeps morphing, and really it just gets more and more and more beautiful as the wear goes on. One of the most incredible perfumes I think I've smelled in years, and I've smelled a lot of sheeps in my day. Wow, that sounded really like, in my day, I've smelled a lot of sheeps, but I've smelled a lot of sheeper perfumes. And this one is just beautiful. I love it. I'm so happy to finally have this in my collection, and that's Nightingale from Zoologist. The next two perfumes I'm going to show arrived in a surprise package on my doorstep during the month of January from a very good friend of mine. I do not know what I did to deserve this or him in his kindness and generosity, but apparently it was something good, because now I am the proud owner of this beautiful bottle of Spring Dance from Jusbox Perfumes. This is by the man, the myth, the legend, Dominique Ropion, and I feel like he teleported into my brain before he designed this perfume, because it has everything that I love in it. It has tart, juicy grapefruit. It has honeysuckle, but actually I get a lot of neroli in this. I mean, the honeysuckle you can definitely get in this perfume. It's a beautiful floral, honeysuckle, springy scent. But to me, I also get some neroli in this. It's not one of the listed notes from the brand, but I really get a lot of green neroli in this. It's got some rosemary, some jasmine, and then a really nice soft white musk in the base. And I literally feel like if I go outside wearing this perfume, little bluebirds are going to come flying around my head and land on my shoulder or something. It's really bright. It's really happy. It's a great spring perfume. I haven't really had a chance to wear this enough yet to see what it's going to be like in the breezy spring weather, but I anticipate it's going to be beautiful. And I'm really grateful to have this in my collection thanks to my wonderful friend. So that's Spring Dance from Jusbox. Next up is Mystic Bliss from Goldfield and Banks. This is a really interesting brand. Each of their perfumes features a botanical essence from a plant that is native to Australia. And in this particular perfume, the plant that they're featuring is Consea, and it means white cloud. I did a little research. It's supposed to be a plant that smells very fresh and invigorating when you put your nose to it, and you definitely get that, especially in the opening of this perfume. It's very green, very aromatic. There's mint, there's fig, there's clary sage, some really nice geranium. I love a geranium note in perfume. There's juniper, and then of course the Consea plant. And then as the perfume develops, the woodier, deeper elements start to emerge. So you've got some labdanum, some cedar, sandalwood, and vetiver. It's really interesting perfume. I'm looking forward to wearing this more and getting to know it better. I think it would work well on anyone. Anyone could wear this perfume, although I think anyone can wear any perfume. I think if you like a perfume, if you like the way it smells, you should wear it. And that's what I think about perfume. But interestingly, as I was, going into the research rabbit hole, I learned that this particular plant attracts birds and soldier beetles. And I would not mind a bird landing on my shoulder, but I draw the line at soldier beetles. I look them up, and I never want to come face to face with a soldier beetle. So if you know anything about soldier beetles, drop me a comment down below. I'd like to find out maybe a little bit more about them from afar. But up close, Mystic Bliss, Goldfield and Banks. And finally, for the month of January, I added to my collection Romance Elixir from Ralph Lauren. Honestly, I didn't even know they were still making romance flankers. This one just came out in 2024 and completely slipped by me. I got this almost full bottle in a swap. I love a perfume swap. It's a really lovely, sweeter, kind of like more syrupy version than the original. They both definitely have that fruity floral profile, that lychee, rose, violet profile, but the original is like a little bit airier and maybe even a little bit watery from the freesia and the lotus that are in it. But the elixir is just a deeper, darker version. It's a little bit more resinous because it has some elemi and some benzoin. And it's like romance. The original romance went on a study abroad to Paris and came back and was all, like glammed up. So this was a successful swap. I'm really happy I traded out something I wasn't really reaching for anymore and brought something new into my collection. So that's Romance from Ralph Lauren. Besides the 7 bottles of perfume that I added to my collection, I had a whole bunch of other goodies this month. I won 2 giveaways, one from Hiram Green. I received a discovery set of all of his beautiful natural perfumes. I'll have to make a video about that line. It's incredible. I won a 10 ml of Le Grand Jeu from Voyages Imaginaires, and when they sent me that, they also sent me, very generously, an entire discovery set of all of the perfumes in their line. My husband re-upped me, very sweetly, on a bottle of Violet Ida, and I got a bunch of samples with that Miller Harris order that he placed. My Ministry of Scent order for Zoologist also came with some samples, And my perfume pal that I swapped with sent me some samples from NOYZ. So lots of cool extra goodies this month. As you can see, I was a very spoiled and very grateful perfume enthusiast in the month of January. The big question is, what did it all cost? So we're going to shift gears now and take a look at my monthly budget and my spending for the month of January. I budget $100 to $150 a month for fun stuff. I mean, let's face it, my days of going to the club are over, so for me, fun stuff usually has something to do with perfume. I also recognize and appreciate that it is a privilege to have fun stuff money to spend at all. I spent a lot of years making really bad financial decisions. It took me a long time to get out of debt, and I am not in a hurry to go back to that kind of living. And so it's really important to me that I enjoy this hobby responsibly. So if we take a look at the month of January, I started out with my perfume piggy bank having a balance of $300, and then I spent $175 on the bottle of Zoologist Nightingale. That was my biggest splurge for the month. So then between some declutter money coming in, a few things that I purchased, money going out, I also did send some samples and some things to some friends. So I included like the postage for that kind of thing in my monthly spending. I ended the month with a perfume piggy bank balance of $151.35, kicking me off for the month of February. So pretty good month. My total spent, if I did not have the perfume piggy bank balance, would have been $239.80. That is way over my $100 to $150 a month budget. I probably would not have purchased the extra things. I probably would have ended it with the Zoologist bottle, but I had a little balance. I did a little decluttering, and so I was able to buy a couple more things this month. And so that wraps up my month of January and the first installment of perfume collecting for regular people. I really appreciate you being here. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What are some of the things that you do to enjoy this hobby that we share responsibly? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.